The hour of convening having arrived, all members of the House will please report to the floor and take seats. All members will please report to the floor and take seats. The clerk will ring the bell. All members will please report to the floor of the House. We're about to have the afternoon roll call. The only legislative body in the state of Georgia that's taking roll today is the Georgia House of Representatives. All right, we're going to have the morning roll call. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. 159 House members present today. Thank you all very much. The last thing I'm going to say about today is this. I'm going to try to get you out of here quickly, because I need for y'all to check on your senators and make sure that make sure they have plenty to eat and they're staying warm and dry, and if they need a ride, you can take them somewhere, okay? Doorkeepers will please close the doors and keep them closed. We will begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by the chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our chaplain this morning will be introduced by the lady from the 43rd House District, the chair of the Health and Human Services Committee, Chairman Sharon Cooper. Chairman Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, everyone. It's a privilege to introduce Reverend Porter today. I'll tell you a little story. Some of you may remember my pastor that we love so much at Northside Presbyterian Church. And as all pastors eventually have to do, he retired. And so I decided that maybe I should go to church a little closer to home in Cobb County rather than driving down into Atlanta and always being late for services. So I started looking around. You know, our pastor was sort of portly and warm and caring and with a loud, booming voice. You know, he's the one that one of our former governors had lead a service out on the steps of the Capitol when we had been in drought conditions for days and days and days. And as he preached and as he prayed, it began to rain. So he was quite a hard act to follow as I looked around for a church. And friends kept saying I needed to go over to Smyrna, to the First Methodist Smyrna Church. And I finally said, okay, I'll go with you. And when I went in, and I met the pastor before, I met Reverend Porter. Well, you know, he reminded me of Dr. Gil Watson. He was sort of portly and sort of like a big cuddly bear. And as y'all all know, I do like bears. And then when he got into the sermon and he referenced Pooh Bear, I knew there was a place in my heart for this pastor. But more than that, Reverend Porter and his family has taken that church under their arms in their love, and it has grown from a sort of a sleepy little church with about 1,000 members, most of them sort of older, to a church that is a vibrant church growing to 2,500 members, and with people of all ages, all walks of life coming to that church. And it's a warm and friendly church, and you know it the minute you walk in. And it's because of Reverend Porter. So I'm so delighted to introduce him today. He is with his wife and one of his sons, Derek, and they're sitting over here if y'all want to stand up and let us say, And Reverend Porter has a lot of stories because he's got 4 sons, and apparently they are all very active and into everything at various stages of school, up into college. And I do believe that I reached over and when I heard the first sermon and said to a friend, is he Irish? Because he's got the gift of gab, and I think maybe he kissed the Blarney Stone. So with that, will welcome Reverend Porter.
Speaker Ralston, Representative Cooper, members of the House, it is an honor and privilege to be here with you this morning. One of the priorities that we have as Christians, as people who serve the church, one of the things that we say often is keep grinding, keep grinding, keep grinding. It is an honor to be a part of the legislative body this week, this day that is grinding away, and thank you for your service. Thank you for your braving the elements this morning, as dangerous as they were. I am reminded of 5 years ago, yesterday and today, when they were dangerous and where students were in classrooms overnight in the little sleepy community that I lived in, and where decisions were not made and lives were at risk. I am reminded of those. And so I want to shed a little bit of compassion, or a good bit of compassion, for those who made decisions today who are going to be mocked. The truth of the matter is, we who are pastors and preachers share similar lives to those of you who are public servants. We serve bodies that take criticism for divisiveness and take criticism for splitting, when the truth of the matter is our bodies are both manifestations and products of the cultures in which we serve. One of the ways that we deal with it at Smyrna First is we stand in the middle of those divisions and say our job is to follow God, to follow Jesus, and to love the person in front of us, no matter who they may be, no matter what they may believe, or who they may follow. It is our job to love the person in front of us. 5 years ago, one of the greatest ways I saw that was done by a little town, small town mayor, who in the midst of the snowstorms and the ice and people struggling to get around and trapped in cars, got in his little Jeep Wrangler and drove around all through the community and kept asking people, do you need a hand? Do you need a hand? Do you need a hand? He didn't ask them who they voted for. He didn't ask them who they believed in. He didn't ask them if they voted for him. I really wish he'd have asked them if they were Methodist or Baptist, but he didn't. He just said, do you need a hand? That little mayor's in this room right now, my friend Jay Collins. Jay, thank you for always asking people, do you need a hand? I've served on the board with Matthew Gamble at Murphy Harpst, where he worked hard to ask and to provide a hand for people. One of the things that we've learned as we say these questions and we ask these questions and we love the person in front of us is what does it mean to follow Jesus and to love in the way that Jesus loved? He would always, always alleviate suffering. He would do anything he could to alleviate suffering, especially for children. But when asked, and this is it, and I'm done. When asked, I promise, that's the preacher in me. I know the clock's ticking. when Jesus is asked, who do I extend a hand to, and who can I not extend a hand to, he said this: you have to extend a hand to everyone, even those you hate. Brothers and sisters, within your hands is a public trust to extend the hand to those that even work against you, to extend the hand to those that this world around us tells us is your enemy. We are praying for you in Smyrna. We are praying for you at Smyrna First, that you will continue to say to those, even that which you disagree, can I give you a hand? Can I help you? And when you do that, you are living the highest Jesus Christian principle there is. Let us pray. Almighty God, we thank you for each and every soul here represented. Gracious God, they carry within them the sacred trust of serving the people of this great state. Gracious God, through your Holy Spirit, guide them, lead them to lend a hand from Ludowici to Bowden, from Wiggum to Bremen, to the farms in Bacon County, to the mountains of North Georgia. In Christ's name I pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Thank you. Perfect.
Doorkeepers will unlock the doors. The chair recognizes Chairman Darlene Taylor, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits.
Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Information and Audits have read the review from the previous legislative day and found them to be correct.
Chairman Taylor, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? The chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. The clerk will read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day.
Mr. Burns, on the 59th, moves the following be established as the order of business during the first part of the period. Unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Reports of standing committees. Morning orders.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 14 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Mitchell of the 88th, Beasley Teague of the 65th, Nelson of the 125th, Bernal of the 77th, and others. Bill being entitled Act to amend Chapter 27 of Title 50 of the Fiscal Code of Georgia, annotated relating the lottery for education.
Appropriations.
House Bill 15 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Glanton of the 75th, Beasley Teague of the 65th, Nelson of the 125th, and Cannon of the 58th. Bill being titled an act to amend Part 2 of Article 1 of Chapter 3 of Title 8 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to powers of housing authorities generally.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 16 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Gilliard of the 162nd, Schofield of the 60th, Bentley of the 139th, Beasley Teague of the 65th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to education.
Higher Education.
House Bill 48 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd and Stevens of the 164th. Bill being titled an act to amend Code Section 48-9-3 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the levy of excise tax.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 49 by Representative Morris of the 26th, Jones of the 47th, Tanner of the 9th, Lumsden of the 12th, Powell of the 32nd, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Code Section 12-5-584 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to water supply.
Natural Resources and Environment.
House Bill 50 by Representative McCall of the 33rd, a bill being titled an act to abolish the office of elected county surveyor of Lincoln County.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
House Bill 51 by Representative Green of the 151st, bill being titled an act to amend an act creating the Quitman County Water and Sewage Authority.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
House Bill 52 by Representative Green of the 151st, bill being titled an act to amend an act creating a small claims court in Clay County.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
House Bill 53 by Representative Carpenter of the 4th, Cantrell of the 22nd, Tanner of the 9th, Ridley of the 6th, Gravely of the 67th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to elementary and secondary education.
Education.
House Bill 54 by Representative Perkle, the 155th. Bill being titled an act to amend an act authorizing the governing authority of the city of Fitzgerald to levy an excise tax.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
House Bill 55 by Representative Bruce of the 61st, Beverly of the 143rd, Allen of the 40th, Jackson of the 64th, and Evans of the 83rd, and others. A bill being titled an act to amend Article 4 of Chapter 11 of Title 16 and Code Section 1611-151 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to dangerous instrumentalities.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 56 by Representative Silcox of the 52nd, Powell of the 32nd, Corbett of the 174th. Bill being titled an act to amend Code Section 32-9-4 and 40-2-38 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to designation of travel lanes.
Motor Vehicles.
House Bill 57 by Representative Kendrick of the 93rd, Beverly of the 143rd, Scott of the 76th, Jones of the 53rd, Marin of the 96th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Code Chapter 2 of Title 21 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to primaries and elections generally.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 58 by Representative Bernal of the 77th, Bodie of the 62nd, Schofield of the 60th, Clark of the 108th, Howland of the 54th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to crimes and offenses.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 59 by Representative Belton of the 112th, Clark of the 147th, Clark of the 98th, Hitchens of the 161st, Prince of the 127th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Code Section 20-2-150, the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to eligibility for enrollment in elementary and secondary education programs.
Education.
House Bill 60 by Representative Belton of the 112th, Clark of the 147th, Clark of the 98th, Hitchens of the 161st, Prince of the 127th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 7 and 4 of the Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to post-secondary education.
Higher Education.
House Bill 61 by Representative Clanton of the 75th, Smith of the 134th, Gilliard of the 162nd, Stevens of the 164th, Smiler of the 135th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Title 33 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to insurance.
Insurance.
House Bill 62 by Representative Cooper of the 43rd, Hitchens of the 161st, Burns of the 159th, Silcox of the 52nd. Bill being titled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 1 of Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to general provisions relating to health.
Health and Human Services.
House Bill 63 by Representative Cooper, the 43rd, Smith, the 134th, Silcox, the 52nd. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 24 of Title 33 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to insurance.
Insurance.
House Bill 64 by Representative Prince of the 127th, Belton of the 112th, Oliver of the 82nd, Holcomb of the 81st, and F. Stration of the 104th. Bill being titled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 7 of Title 19 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to parent and child relationships.
Juvenile justice.
House Bill 65 by Representative Lumsden of the 12th, Harrell of the 106th, Kelly of the 16th, Fleming of the 121st, and Trammell of the 132nd. Bill being titled an act to amend Part 1 of Article 3 of Chapter 8 of Title 48 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to a county special purpose local option sales tax.
Ways and Means.
House Bill 66 by Representative Hughley of the 136th, Williams of the 168th, Smyrie of the 135th, Dukes of the 154th, and McLean of the 100th. Bill being titled an act to amend Article 3, Chapter 2 of Title 40, the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to prestige license debates.
Motor Vehicles.
House Bill 67 by Representative Benton of the 31st, Powell of the 32nd, Green of the 151st, Smyrie 135th, and McCall of the 33rd. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 6 of Title 47 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the Georgia legislative retirement system.
Retirement.
House Bill 68 by Representative Carson of the 46th, Fleming of the 121st, Earhart of the 36th, Blanton of the 75th, Cantrell of the 22nd, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 2A of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to student scholarship organizations.
Education.
House Bill 69 by Representative Turner of the 21st, Cantrell of the 22nd, Stovall of the 74th, Belton of the 112th, and Setzler of the 35th. Bill being titled an act to amend Code Section 20-2-2114 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to qualifications for the Georgia Special Needs Scholarship Program.
Education.
House Bill 70 by Representative F. Stration of the 104th, Fleming of the 121st, Scoggins of the 14th, Oliver of the 82nd, Trammell of the 132nd. Bill being titled an act to amend Title 29 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to Guardian in Ward.
Juvenile Justice.
House Bill 71 by Representative Turner of the 21st, Caldwell of the 20th, Stover of the 71st, Clark of the 98th. Bill being titled an act to amend Article 6 of Chapter 3 of Title 44 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to property owners associations.
Judiciary.
House Bill 72 by Representative Bernal of the 77th, Scott of the 76th, Schofield of the 60th, Douglas of the 78th, and Glant of the 75th. Bill being titled an act to amend an act creating the Board of Commissioners of Clayton County.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
House Bill 73 by Representative Morris of the 26th, Gilligan of the 24th, Fleming of the 121st, Kelly of the 16th, and Jones of the 25th. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 11 of Title 45 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to miscellaneous offenses.
Governmental Affairs.
House Bill 74 by Representative Turner of the 21st, Clark of the 147th, Powell of the 32nd, Ridley of the 6th, and Gullett of the 19th. Bill being entitled an act to amend Part 4 of Article 3, Chapter 1 of Title 40, the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to ride-share network services.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 75 by Representative Earhart of the 36th, Hitchens of the 161st, Powell of the 32nd, Jones of the 47th, Jaspers of the 11th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Code Section 40-6-163, the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to duty of driver of vehicle meeting or overtaking school bus.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 76 by Representative Stevens, the 164th, Harrell of the 106th, Dickinson of the 113th. The bill being titled an act to amend Title 3, the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to alcoholic beverages.
Regulated Industries.
House Bill 77 by Representative Clark of the 98th, Earhart of the 36th, Barr of the 103rd, Caldwell of the 20th, Rich of the 97th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Article 4 of Chapter 9 of Title 16 and Article 1 of Chapter 4 of Title 49 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to fraud and related offenses.
Judiciary Non-Civil.
House Bill 78 by Representative Clark of the 98th, Cooper of the 43rd, Jackson of the 128th, Glanton of the 75th, Mathiak of the 73rd, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Part 15 of Article 6, Chapter 2 of Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to miscellaneous provisions under the Quality Basic Education Act.
Education.
House Resolution 6 by Representative Caldwell of the 20th and Cantrell of the 22nd. Resolution proposing amendment to the Constitution.
Rules.
House Resolution 7 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Mitchell of the 88th, Beasley Teague of the 65th, Nelson of the 125th, Bernal of the 77th, and others. A resolution proposing an amendment to the Constitution.
Appropriations.
House Resolution 48 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd, Hogan of the 179th, Hitchens of the 161st, Stevens of the 164th, and Petrie of the 166th. A resolution supporting the Georgia's coastal tourism and fisheries and opposing seismic testing and oil and gas drilling activities off Georgia's coast.
Natural Resources and Environment.
House Resolution 49 by Representative Green of the 151st, a resolution honoring the life of Mr. James Bland Sr. and dedicating a bridge in his memory.
Transportation.
House Resolution 50 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd, Hitchens of the 161st, Stevens of the 164th, and Petrie of the 166th. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on Nancy Hanks passenger rail line from Savannah to Atlanta.
Transportation.
House Resolution 51 by Representative Morris of the 26th, Jones of the 47th, Kelly of the 16th, Clark of the 98th, Burns of the 159th, and others. A resolution creating the joint Georgia, North Carolina, and Georgia-Tennessee Boundary Line Commission.
Interstate Cooperation.
House Resolution 52 by Representative Corbett of the 174th, Saints of the 180th, Ridley of the 6th, Stevens of the 164th, and LaHood of the 175th. A resolution encouraging all schools, local education agencies, and a state education agency to recognize.
Education.
House Resolution 53 by Representative Donahue of the 30th, Gilliard of the 162nd, Cantrell of the 22nd, Stovall of the 74th, and Hitchens of the 161st. A resolution requesting the United States Congress call a convention under Article 5.
Rules.
That completes first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 17 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Gordon of the 163rd, Beasley Teague of the 65th, Hawley of the 111th, Douglas of the 78th, and others. Bill relating to general provisions regarding offenses against public health and morals. House Bill 30 by Representative Ralston of the 7th, Jones of the 47th, Burns of the 159th, England of the 116th. A bill to amend an act providing appropriations for the state fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2018, ending June 30th, 2019. House Bill 31 by Representative Ralston of the 7th, Jones of the 47th, Burns of the 159th, England of the 116th. Bill to make and provide appropriations for the state fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2019 and ending June 30th, 2020. House Bill 32 by Representative Tanner of the 9th, Dickey of the 140th, Jaspers of the 11th, Glanton of the 75th, Nix of the 69th, and others. A bill relating to turnaround schools. House Bill 33 by Representative Lumsden of the 12th, Hitchens of the 161st, Powell of the 32nd, Prince of the 127th, Glanton of the 75th, and others. A bill relating to weapons carry license, gun safety information, temporary renewal permit, mandamus, and verification of license. House Bill 34 by Representative Bernal of the 77th, Stovall of the 74th, Bazemore of the 63rd, Glanton of the 75th, and Schofield of the 60th. A bill relating to development authorities, directors, officers, compensation, adoption of bylaws, delegation of powers and duties, conflicts of interest, and audits. House Bill 35 by Representative Watson of the 172nd, Donahue of the 30th, Rhodes of the 120th, Loricki of the 169th, Jaspers of the 11th, and others. A bill relating to sales and use taxes. House Bill 36 by Representative Trammell of the 132nd, Bodie of the 62nd, Beverly of the 143rd, Alexander of the 66th, Gardner of the 57th, and others. A bill relating to Hope scholarships and grants. House Bill 37 by Representative Trammell of the 132nd, Bodie of the 62nd, Beverly of the 143rd, Alexander of the 66th, Gardner of the 57th, and others. A bill relating to medical assistance. House Bill 38 by Representative Bernal of the 77th, Stovall of the 74th, Glanton of the 75th, Douglas of the 78th, and Schofield of the 60th. A bill relating to theft. House Bill 39 by Representative Belton of the 112th, Hitchens of the 161st, Williams of the 168th, Blackman of the 146th, Prince of the 127th, and others. A bill relating to physical therapists. House Bill 40 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Stovall of the 74th, Trammell of the 132nd, Bernal of the 77th, Bruce of the 61st, and others. A bill relating to educational programs. House Bill 41 by Representative Dickerson of the 113th, Stevens of the 164th, Hitchens of the 161st, Belton of the 112th, Holcomb of the 81st. A bill relating to an income tax credit for film, gaming, video, or digital production in Georgia. House Bill 42 by Representative Turner of the 21st, Hawkins of the 27th, Cooper of the 43rd, Bennett of the 94th, Martin of the 49th, and others. A bill to be entitled an act so as to prohibit professional licensing boards from refusing to issue a license or suspending or revoking the license of a person who is a borrower in default under educational loan issued through Georgia Higher Education Assistance Corporation or through a federal agency. House Bill 43 by Representative Setzler, the 35th, Turner of the 21st, a bill relating to sexual offenses. House Bill 44 by Representative Ralston of the 7th, Jones of the 47th, Burns of the 159th, England of the 116th, a bill to amend an act making and providing appropriations for the state fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2018, ending June 30th, 2019. House Bill 45 by Representative Ralston of the 7th, Jones of the 47th, Burns of the 159th, England of the 116th, a bill to amend an act making and providing appropriations for the state fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2018, ending June 30th, 2019. House Bill 46 by Representative Ralston of the 7th, Jones of the 47th, Burns of the 159th, England of the 116th, a bill to make and provide appropriations for state fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2019, ending June 30th, 2020. House Bill 47 by Representative Ralston of the 7th, Jones of the 47th, Burns of the 159th, England of the 116th, a bill to make and provide appropriations for state fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2019, ending June 30th, 2020. House Resolution 8 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Bruce of the 61st, Dreyer of the 59th, Thomas of the 56th, McLean of the 100th, and others. Resolution proposing amendment to the Constitution so as to provide that the office of any state, county, and municipal elected official shall be declared vacant upon the elected official qualifying for certain other offices. House Resolution 39 by Representative Caldwell of the 20th and Cantrell of the 22nd. Resolution honoring the life of Mr. Patrick Price, dedicating a bridge in his memory. House Resolution 47 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Beverly of the 143rd, Stevenson of the 90th, Trammell of the 132nd, and Thomas of the 39th. Resolution creating the House Study Committee on Decriminalization of Traffic Violations. Through second readers.
Reports of standing committees, the clerk will read.
Representative Ron Stevens, 164th District Chairman on the Committee on Economic Development and Tourism, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Economic Development and Tourism has had under consideration the following bills of the House. The Instruct Committee reports same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 22 do pass. House Bill 23 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Ron Stevens, 164th District, Chairman.
Okay, we're going on to morning orders. Going on to morning order. Well, what purpose does the chairman of the Appropriations Committee rise?
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr.
State
Speaker.
your inquiry.
Well, there's actually a couple. Is this not the sun that I see coming through the window here this afternoon?
It does appear to be the sunshine.
Well, now we're seeing the sun, but isn't it not further true that we have not seen our brothers and sisters from the Senate today?
I haven't.
Well, Mr. Speaker, in listening to what the pastor of the day had said, it got me to thinking about loving our brothers and sisters and everything. And is it not true that some of us may be concerned about a few of those members over there?
Well, the chair is seriously considering appointing a committee to go out around and do welfare checks this afternoon and make sure they're all safe. And
I actually may have a better idea for you, Mr. Speaker, if I may, with a further inquiry.
State your further inquiry.
Would it not be prudent maybe to call Commissioner Williams and ask him to send his DNR personnel out to seek them out of their lairs, wherever they may be?
I'm sure he would be more than happy to oblige us. I found him to be a very diligent servant of the people of Georgia. What purpose does Representative Al Williams rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, is it not true that I unfortunately was absent yesterday?
I'm sorry?
You didn't miss me. I'm hurt. I heard that you were in tears. Now I find out you didn't even know I was here. Is that not true?
Yeah, I'm speechless. Only you could do that, you know.
Mr. Speaker, is it not so that because I was absent. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I went over to visit with a friend of mine in the Senate, and when I didn't find anybody, I called him, and in a panic, all he could say was the ice is coming. Do I need to go to South Georgia, Savannah particularly, and assure him that we're all right? Is it not so?
Would you do that, please? Just
Sure,
be
be
back here
glad
by
to.
tomorrow, because we're going to be back tomorrow, too.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
What purpose does the chair's neighbor from the mountains of North Georgia, Representative Ridley, rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry. I can't wait for this one.
Mr. Speaker, is it not true that today I went over to the House of Lords, the Senate, to check on my friends, and no one was there?
Well, first of all, I really am impressed that you have friends over there.
Yeah.
Right? You've gotten off to a great start in your second term.
Thank you, sir. I've been working really hard. Further inquiry.
State your further inquiry.
I figured out that there was 56 people over there that suffer from chinophobia, the fear of snow. I know y'all are impressed that I knew that. But Mr. Speaker, my other question is, isn't the Senate the one that say that they're the brave and the smarter than we are? That's their opinion, not ours.
Well, I have never accused them of that, so.
Mr. Speaker, my final question is, if all of us is here, where are they?
That's the question. What purpose does Representative Bentley rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State
Speaker.
your inquiry.
Is it not true, Mr. Speaker, that the Funeral Home Caucus is growing? And is it not further true, Mr. Speaker, that there's no members of the Funeral Home Caucus in this Senate?
That is my understanding, because they're exceptionally bright people. Therefore, they come to the House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
What purpose does Chairman Lynn Smith rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Is it not true that I found a lost senator who is gathered over at the House of Representatives today? I'm trying to guide him carefully. Is it not true? But he has chosen the House over the Senate. My Senator Matt Brass is here.
We want to commend the senator for coming to work. I'm impressed. What purpose does Representative Holcomb rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Is it not true, Mr. Speaker, that a day off is when you stay home from work and a work day is when you show up?
That is absolutely correct.
And is it not further true, Mr. Speaker, that this House knows the difference?
Yes, we do. What purpose does the majority whip rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, isn't it true that sometimes we have to laugh to keep from crying?
Absolutely.
And while we're
It seemed a little early in the session for that, but
and while we're here laughing, isn't it true, Mr. Speaker, there are millions of Georgians who got up and went to work this morning, and I'm grateful that we have a speaker and members of this body who are willing to show up and do the work the people expect us.
well, they were going to get paid for being there, as we are, as they will be too.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your leadership.
I wasn't going to say anything else, but okay, morning orders. We're going on to morning orders. Everybody listen up here. Chair recognizes for a morning order Chairman Bill Werkheiser.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Against the wall, and everybody pay attention, because especially you new folks that are not familiar, the National Council of State Legislators is an organization that every one of us in this body need to belong to. They provide a lot of good content during our off season, usually in some good locations. And with us today, we have Kate Blackman next to our I know a lot of you think that Terry does the budget, but even Terry will admit that Martha's in charge of the budget. And so standing right next to her is Kate Blackman. And our own Martha was actually awarded the national, I think, Staff of the Year of the Century or something, which is and so we're very proud of Martha, and with her, she has Kate Blackman. So if you'd like more information, but you do need to get involved with this organization. They provide a lot of good content during and off season. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We're happy to have you with us, Kate. Thank you very much. Appreciate the good work that NCSL does. Chair recognizes for a morning order Chairman Ed Reinders, Chairman Gerald Green, Representative Dukes, and Representative Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday, we've got very sad news for the hearts and the people of Southwest Georgia when W.T. Henry unexpectedly passed away at the age of 80. Now, W.T. may not be known to all of you, but to some of you, he was known and loved. Mr. Speaker, his daughter was the starting point guard on the first U.S. Women's Olympic basketball team and played for Pat Sutton. He was the first headmaster at Southwest Georgia Academy in Damascus, and for 40 years dedicated his life to public education. Most recently, the headmaster of Deerfield, Windsor, and Albany, as well as a member of the State Board of Education at one time. And he wasn't in bad health. He just left us. And to all the people in education throughout the state, they owe him and his wonderful family a great amount of gratitude, because these are good people. And so we're with his family and his friends and his thoughts. And I just kindly ask for a brief moment of silence on behalf of Headmaster W.T. Henry and his family. Amen.
Chair recognizes for a morning order Representative Valencia Stovall.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. Every morning, a single parent across this state awakes wondering if he or she will be able to handle challenges being a parent presents today. Competing against friends and social media of their children. The number of single parents have more than doubled in the past 25 years. Did you know 1/3 of American children, a total of over 15 million, are being raised without a father, and over 5 million children live without a mother? The dedication and achievement of single parents, regardless of gender, cultural diversity, or economic status, deserve our recognition. And on March the 21st, Single Parents Day will be celebrated in Georgia, also nationally, because of H.R. 279 and your support. On March the 22nd, the National Leadership Group will recognize single parents who are legacy builders doing outstanding jobs for raising their children. And now nominations are currently being accepted until February the 9th at nationallg.org. So I encourage you all as colleagues, if you know of any single parents in your district that you would like to recognize and nominate, to please do so that we can recognize the outstanding jobs they are doing across the state. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes for a morning order Representative Carpenter.
Oh, this is a good one. So this is actually just a congratulations. A constituent of mine named Will Posey was the first Georgian to participate in the Winter X Games. He won a silver medal in the parabike cross. He actually was in a motorcycle accident a year ago, and it left him confined to a wheelchair. And so he took up this sport, and he went out, I think it was in Aspen, and won a silver medal. So it's just a shout out to him and the amazing accomplishment. Thanks.
What purpose does Representative Petrie rise?
To make a motion, Mr. Speaker,
State your motion.
I'd like to move that we move House Bill 29 from intergovernmental coordination to governmental affairs. Both
Clerk.
chairmen are in favor of this move, Mr. Speaker.
Clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 29 by Representative Petrie of the 166th and others to be entitled an act to amend an act to incorporate the city of Skidaway Island.
On the gentleman's motion that House Bill 29 be moved from the Intergovernmental Coordination Committee to the Governmental Affairs Committee, is there objection? Is there objection? The chair hears none, and it is so ordered. The clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions.
Commending Corporal Cody Jones, Department of Natural Resources Law Enforcement 2018 Game Warden of the Year, honoring the life and memory of William G. Nordmark, honoring the life and memory of J.C. Wood, commending Jeremy King, Fannin County's 2020 Teacher of the Year, commending the DeKalb County Public Library for being named the 2018 Georgia Public Library of the Year, recognizing and commending Katura Orji, honoring the life and memory of David James LeVay, honoring the life and memory of Robert Bob Paul Hanner Sr., recognizing and commending the Valdosta State University Blazers football team for the 2018 Division National Championship victory, commending and recognizing Regina Sunshine Robinson, expressing cultural, economic, and educational cooperation with the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and commending the Consul General Andrew Staunton on the United Kingdom for his efforts on behalf of the special relationship between the United Kingdom and the state of Georgia, recognizing and commending Community Relations Commission on the occasion of its 30th anniversary, recognizing March 19, 2019 as Georgia Hearing Day at the state capitol, commending Dr. Mancini on his outstanding achievements on behalf of immigrant mental health, recognizing January 28, 2019 as Georgia Academy of Audiology Day at the state capitol, commending Callie Herod and Anna Shellnut, commending the Honorable Ambassador Vardan Shrigla, and for other purposes. That completes the reading of the privileged resolutions.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the privileged resolutions? The chair hears none, and the resolutions are adopted. We have a birthday today. I hope that this will be put in the journal. Let's wish a happy birthday to Chairman Darlene Taylor. Chairman Taylor. Okay, we have a number of announcements. If you signed up for an announcement, please take positions down front. An announcement is not the same as adjournment. So please keep your seats, keep conversation to just a low hum. Chair recognizes Representative LaRicchia for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just a reminder, Alma-Bacon County, 27th year that they're going to do the legislative appreciation. I'm sorry I'm duplicating this announcement, but we wasn't sure we was going to be here, and the speaker said, yes, you are going to be here. So we want to make sure you come out and join us at 5 o'clock this afternoon at the IBEW building just around the corner. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Hitchens for an announcement.
The Public Safety and Homeland Security Committee will meet for an organizational meeting today at 4 p.m. in CLOB 606.
Chair recognizes Chairman Beverly for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House Democratic Caucus will meet immediately upon adjournment today in room 216. So immediately upon adjournment, room 216 for about 20 minutes. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Fleming for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House Judiciary Committee will have its initial meeting today at 2 p.m. or upon adjournment in room 132 Capitol, 132. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Randy Nix for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For those who missed the mandatory harassment training that we did at the biennial, there will be a makeup for that today. The video will be shown at 2:15 in room 341 in the Capitol. That's 2:15 in 341 in the Capitol. Now, this is mandatory, so you need to do it. Because of the weather issues, there's a chance that it may be done again next week, but if at all possible, please be there today. You will have to sign to say that you have attended this training. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Chairman Sam Watson for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've got some folks back home working hard on the farm in the cold and the rain, and I don't want to let them down today, so Appropriations Subcommittee on General Government will meet in room 406 immediately upon adjournment. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman David Knight for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and to all members, returning and new members, you will see on your desk a sign-up form for the Georgia Legislative Sportsmen's Caucus. This is a nonpartisan caucus, and it is a caucus that shows your support for the hunting and fishing and the conservation in Georgia. So if you will, we don't have dues. We'll end up doing a raffle during the session sometime. That's how we'll fund our caucus. So if you will, return those sign-up sheets if you want to be in the caucus to me or to my office, Capitol 245. But most importantly, I want to let you know that the caucus, that Georgia is going to host the National Conference of NASS this year. And there'll be over 30-something states that will be represented. Their caucuses will be represented. We'll hold that in November. And it's a big honor, and there's a lot of policy that goes on around the country involving our conservation and hunting and fishing. So I want to encourage you to become a member if you haven't, and also be a part of this conference in the fall, and I will get you more information then. So thank you very much.
Chair recognizes Representative Bonner for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of my colleagues, I would like to extend an invitation to all of you to the first meeting of our Legislative Fellowship tomorrow morning at 7:15 in room 107. That's the Governor's Conference Room on the first floor. This is open to all members. It is an opportunity to leave politics at the door for a short period of time and to enter into a time of fellowship. So if you would please join us tomorrow morning at 7:15. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Dickerson and Representative Holmes for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. February is American Heart Health Month, and we would like to extend an invitation to all of those tomorrow to wear red. We won't be here on February the 1st. There are so many women that heart disease affects. 1 out of 4 women are affected by heart disease. There are several of us here in this General Assembly who's been affected by it. And we're happy to have Susan, Representative Holmes, back following her procedure. She says she's glad to be back.
I want to say something when you finish. And I want to thank you all for your prayers, because let me tell y'all, I am a miracle because of my doctor at Piedmont. And I just thank you all for all of your prayers and your love.
Thank you, Representative Holmes. So tomorrow, ladies, please wear red since we won't be here February the 1st. And men, we would love for you to have on your red ties just to help us out. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Chairman Alan Powell for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the members of the Regulated Industries Committee, since our organizational meeting was canceled for today, thanks to the Senate, any of the members who have not served on regulated industries in the past, and that's quite a few of the newer members, if you might have time this afternoon to come over by 6:13 and have fellowship with me, and I'd like to explain to you some of the issues that committee will be handling. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Tanner for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You should have received the notice, but the Joint Transportation Committee we had today with the Senate this afternoon for the purpose of going over the 10-year plan has been canceled, both to allow GDOT Commissioner and staff to focus on our roadways and also because we were unable to locate the Senate. Thank you.
That completes our announcements. The chair recognizes the Majority Leader of the House for a motion.
Mr. Speaker, we've had a very good day, but I move at this time that we adjourn until 10 a.m. Wednesday, January the 30th, 2019.
I am assuming that if different members were to have traffic issues that we will be at ease till they get here. We're not expecting any, but better to be safe than sorry. But we'll come back to work tomorrow. The Majority Leader has moved that this House adjourn until 10 a.m. on Wednesday, January 30th. All those in favor of the motion will please say aye. Those opposed will say no. The ayes have it, and this House is adjourned until Wednesday, January 30th at 10 a.m.